All right. So I decided, along with the Van Damme movies, I'm gonna jump into a franchise. So I decided to do the Alvin and the Chipmunks franchise, or the Chipmunks franchise. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do these live action ones, I said I'll do the live action ones, right? And I said, well, if I'm gonna do live action ones, I want to review Chipmunk Adventure, right? Well, if I'm doing the Chipmunk Adventure in the live action ones, I might as well also cover the two animated films released by Universal with Frankenstein and Wolfman. So there's 7 films in total. I'm gonna do a ranking at the end. And I'm also gonna do a bonus review, not putting a ranking, if I can find it on YouTube, for the I confused because my games. For the rock and roll special that they did, Rockin' with the Chipmunks. But today we are talking about the Chipmunk Adventure. So this was a child favorite of mine, despite the fact that it came out the year I was born, in 1987. But I had this on a VHS. It was one of those things where my grandma transferred it to a VHS for me to watch. And I watched it all the time. And then when I was older, like in my teens, not my teens, I think I was in like 12 or 13, around 2001, 2002-ish, maybe 2003-ish. I accidentally recorded over the first part of it with an episode of the Zack Files, not realizing what tape I had in the VCR. And so it was kind of ruined. I only watched from a certain point. And then a few years ago, 2014, back in 2014, which is now 2 years shy of a decade. Good God. My sink is peeing. I bought this from the Walmart. So I was going to do this for birth month back in February and ran out of time. I'm glad I didn't do it because I'm doing it now. Let me tell you something. This really holds up for me, at least. Okay? I think I enjoyed this more now than I've ever enjoyed it. The music is still really good. The animation, for the most part, is good. We'll get into it. And even the voice work is really good. There's a part in the film where the Chipettes get kidnapped by this Arabian prince. It's a little kid prince, and the voice. I mean, I scratched my head. I got that voice. I know that voice. Whose voice is it? I know that voice. So I looked it up. Nancy Cartwright. I'm like, yes, it's Bart Simpson. It's Bart Simpson with an Arabian accent. What is it, twerp? Yes. Frank Milker also does some voice work. I'm assuming he's Sophie, the dog, but, yeah. So a little history on the Chipmunks before I continue. Back in the 1950s, Ross Bagdasarian found out that he could have a little fun by raising the pitch in his voice when he sang, when he recorded his music, and created the Chipmunks, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. And since then, they've been, very famous and stuff. Like, think about this. Everything, back in the 90s, 80s and the 90s, for me, you had the Chipmunks. You had the Ninja Turtles. You had Power Rangers. And you had... And there's also He-Man and all that stuff. And everything is coming back again. Transformers. Everything keeps coming back. Still being popular. The Chipmunks were still in the height of that. Once they did the live action movies, they got popular again. And we'll talk about those because those are ups and downs for me. A couple of them I like, a couple of them I don't. But we'll get to those later. But this film, the plot is Dave... He's going on some ambiguous business trip for some job we're never told. And the Chipmunks are left behind with the Chipettes. And they are playing this around the world game at an arcade where they bump into socialite siblings Klaus und Claudia Feuerstein, because the socialites would just hang out in arcades, sipping on martinis and smoking and stuff. This is the 80s. And if I want to point out a flaw with the animation, it's that the animation of the humans in this film is horrendous. They look like monsters, like especially Klaus. And I know Klaus and Claudia are meant to be the villains, but they're like kind of weird thing. And Miss Miller, no offense, but I think I actively hate Miss Miller in this film. Her introduction is the most annoying thing. The one running joke with her in this movie is that she has a hearing problem. And it doesn't stop. She's the biggest problem I have with this film. Because she's like the only thing I really got annoyed at. And she's the one that saves the day. Because, okay, so here's my problem. They do this thing where, Dave's getting ready to go and stuff. And she shows up and she's like, David, we're up here. Wait a minute here. David, we're up here. And then they're getting ready to go and the taxi's there. And then, David, and hello? And she can't hear anything. And then if that was the only joke in the film they did it with, that would be fine. But later, Alvin puts together this recording of Dave saying random words and edits it together. How a chipmunk child would have the technology to do that is beyond me. And make it sound like he says he wants Alvin, Simon, and Theodore to meet him in Europe. So they put it all together and they have Theodore call her from the other phone, which they must have multiple lines in the house, and pretend to be Dave, where it kind of messes up. But the one line I do like from her is, David, are you drunk? I like that line. But, and, like, hello, Miss Miller? I would like Alvin, Simon, and Theodore to meet me in Europe. Bye-bye. And hangs up. And she then says, can you repeat that? And I was like, really? They don't go back and repeat it. They just cut to them getting ready to go on their trip. But, so here's the plot here. It's kind of in the middle. Klaus and Claudia are diamond smugglers. And they need someone to smuggle the diamonds across the world and collect the cash for them. So, they, overhearing the Chipmunks and Chipettes arguing over who would win a race around the world, they decide to use them to carry their diamonds. And, the boys drop off the boy dolls and get a girl doll. The girl dolls drop off a girl doll and get a boy doll. Standing money for cash, which, why would you, if this was diamonds, wouldn't you put it into a bank account? Why would you exchange for cash? I don't know. This is a cartoon. But the plot kind of goes down once they are running from someone named Jamal, who sends 2 hired goons to chase after the Chipmunks and the Chipettes. These 2 are constantly chasing after both of them and somehow are both in the same place at the same time. Well, no, one of them goes for the Chipmunks, one of them goes for the Chipettes, but in the middle of the movie, the Chipmunks and the Chipettes meet up and they both chase after him. Dave's there too. And like I said, the music in this film, really good music. I like the song very much. Damn it. It was doing good too. I like the music, the songs, very good. Still sing them. There's specifically one song, The Girls of Rock and Roll, which I just found out today was actually for a song called Malibu Bikini Shop, which is strange. It's sung by only women in that movie, and it's weird that they would transition that to here. And, yeah. And the song Witch Doctor doesn't really get played, but they do shoehorn it towards the end where Miss Miller is driving to the airport to pick up Dave. Be interesting to know what would have happened if she had gotten there and Dave had gotten out of the airport before the Chipmunks and if the Chipmunks didn't have the run around the place and everything. If Dave had just bumped into Miss Miller and they were driving home and she asked, "Hey, where are the boys?" And she's like, he'd be like, "What? What do you mean? I thought they were with you." And it'd be interesting. I don't know. So, yeah, they go around the world. There's Egypt and Greece and Mexico and South America and all this stuff. And it's fun to see this animated world, So eventually it's revealed that Mario, the butler, the Feuerstein's butler, is working for Jamal, and that Jamal actually works for Interpol. So Jamal is a policeman, basically. The feds, whatever you want to call them. And he's got two ugly-looking goons working for him. And why don't these goons stop the kids and say, "Hey, we work for Interpol. We're not bad guys. Klaus and Claudia are the bad guys. We're just trying to stop their diamond smuggling ring." Because then it would be no movie. I thought about this today for the first time. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, two ugly, bad-looking goons working for Interpol. Why don't they just stop them? I want to say, "Hey, we work for the feds. We're actually trying, to stop the Feuersteins from collecting the money for the diamonds that are in those dolls. Look in the dolls." And they look in the dolls, and they see money in one, cash in one side, in one doll, diamonds in the other. So why don't they do that? Because if they did that, there'd be no movie. They just arrest Klaus and Claudia right there and be over with. My question is here. There's another question about this, okay? They know that Klaus and Claudia are smuggling the diamonds. They have Mario as a witness. So why doesn't Interpol arrest them at their fucking house? Mario is a witness. He's seen all of the stuff within the house, right? The diamonds are with the Chipmunks, and they're meant to bring the stuff at the airport. So it makes sense. They arrest Klaus and Claudia on charges, and then go to the airport where the Chipmunks are, and collect the money. Say, "Hey, we're the police, and we're here. We're not bad police. We're here to help you. We need what's in those dolls." And then they got them. They could already arrest Klaus and Claudia at the beginning of this film if they have motive, they have means, right? Why don't they? It just doesn't make sense. And we end up with this chase through the airport to a pretty cool song called Diamond Dolls. I forgot to mention that the Chipmunks and the Chipettes, they get off course a little bit because the Chipettes have to return a penguin to the Arctic. And this is when Klaus and Claudia are, "Oh no, they found the diamonds and they're trying to run away with them. They're kids. What would they do with diamonds?" So they send two of their goons, not the same goons, different goons. I always thought it was the same goons, but no, it's different goons, to take them, and the penguins throw snowballs at them. And then meanwhile, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore get kidnapped by these Aboriginal people and are forced to sing Woolly Bully, or as they say, Worry Burry. Because they have dubbed Theodore the Prince of Plenty, and they're going to sacrifice him on the full moon. Along with Alvin and Simon, which doesn't make any sense, but, we have to have all three of them tied up to sing Wooly Bully. So, because the way Simon read that is that they just want to sacrifice the Prince of Plenty, but somehow Alvin and Simon are also can. They make it. You don't see the scene. We make it seem like they tried to stop them, and that's why. We don't get a scene with that. They go, we have to do something, and in the next scene they're like, "Way to go, Alvin!" And I'm like, "Did they do anything?" They're just. So they sing Wooly Bully while the leader of the Aboriginals sets himself on fire several times. This guy is so stupid. He's singing his headdress to set on fire first before he even lights the thing. And then he splashes a water bucket on him. And then he's singing and dancing to Wooly Bully, and he lights his head thing on fire again. And they go to dump the water, and he moves, and it hits the other guy behind him. And then they dump it out, and then he lights his ass on fire. And he flies up into the freaking sky. And while there's alligators down there, or crocodiles, whatever, dancing as well, because they want to eat the chipmunks. And yeah, it's a really weird. But as they get back to the airport, where everyone, by the way, the Greece thing, where they sing Greece, Greece, Athens, Greece. Dave is there for some reason, because we gotta have a chase where these two thugs are chasing both the chipmunks and chipettes, and Dave is running around trying to find them, but doesn't seem to realize it's them. He's like, and afterwards, it's okay. And then Dave shows up at the airport, and the day is saved by Miss Miller of all people, because she missed her exit, and she turns in and rams right into, causes Klaus and Claudia to ram right into a road sign or a telephone pole or something. And that's what saves the day. And here is the big debate. Who won the race? A lot of people will tell you that the Chipettes won. That answer is wrong, but also right. Some people will defend the Chipmunks saying they won. That answer is also wrong, and also right, because the correct answer is they both won. The Chipmunks were in trouble, and the Chipettes saved them. Both the Chipmunks and the Chipettes arrived at the same time, so they should both get the $100,000 or whatever that they were, 10 million, whatever, that they were promised. They both won. No matter how much Alvin and Brittany argue, they both won. They both got to the airport at the same time. They both won. You know. So, yeah, they both won. Movie ends with the fantastic score. Dun 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 dun. I love the score to this too. It's a nice little upbeat score. So, yeah, Chipmunk Adventure. I think it's a fantastic film, and I'm gonna say, without a doubt, that this movie, it goes to the moon. All right. The only thing that annoys me is Miss Miller, and yes, for me, it gets a perfect score. Miss Miller is the only thing, and I can deal with her. All right. But I can't deal with the fact they left her out of the movies. You know, the live action ones. But, yeah, so what are your thoughts on the Chipmunk Adventure? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.